Hello once again. It is time to make another quick breakdown of Sony versus Microsoft. Both teams have went ahead and made their E3 announcements, so we've learned a lot about both systems in that time. Let's go ahead and take a look at what's going on. Now, I'm not going to focus on video game titles. This is just basically the system only, so that we can get a look at it and see which one may be your selection in the future. So, first and foremost, we have Microsoft. They have announced their release date as of November 2013, so it'll be somewhere around the holiday season. Now, here's the thing where things go quite south with Xbox. It's already been discussed plentifully through the internet, so you probably already know what's going on. First and foremost, the Xbox One will require an internet connection. It will check every 24 hours to see your game's legitimacy. Why? Because it's all part of the developer's DRM movement. Not being online for 24 hours will cause your games to stop working. That's how they verify it. If it's not connected, then no game for you. Once the connection comes back after 24 hours, what happens next is very interesting. Once the internet connection comes back, it will check every hour on the hour for 24 hours to make sure there was no tampering with the game or the system to verify the legitimacy. So that's very annoying to say the least. Also, you can only give games to friends who have been on your friend list for at least 30 days. And once you give them to your friend, that game is locked to him or her or whoever. That is it. You're only allowed one transfer, and the game is locked. It's one and done. You can do trade-ins, but you can only do trade-ins at select retailers designated by Microsoft. So that is a bummer to say the least. Already it's anti-consumer. What can you say? Once the game is lent, it's them forever, basically. It's already been stated. So the Xbox has pretty much set the ground rules to that point. Not very cool, to say the least. So it already caught a lot of backlash, as you probably already have seen on the internet, with good reason. DRM is never a good idea. Sure, publishers and game makers deserve their fair share, but at the same time, this is ridiculous. A gaming system should not have to verify your games every 24 hours. You should not be forced to have an internet connection at all times. Some places that's simply just not possible. There are places in the world that do not have that available to them. So to force people to have that connection and to be able to verify their games every 24 hours is just lunacy. I don't understand what Xbox was thinking with that. As for the price, their asking price is $4.99. There is no subsidized version as of yet. You can only get one for $500 basically, or your regional equivalent. So Microsoft pretty much just did a turnabout from the Xbox 360. Oh, by the way, they're bringing out another Xbox 360. But in the end, that's all they had to do for the next gen. All they had to do was continue to do what Xbox 360 did and just make it better for the next generation. Instead, they went ahead and just slapped consumers right in the face with always on DRM basically, and put all these restrictions in place. I don't know what they were thinking on that part. Switching over to Sony's PlayStation 4 system. The release date for this will be in the holiday season 2013, so expect that to be around November or December 2013. It'll probably be around November. That's just my guess. Now, there is no 24-hour verification, so the games won't stop working in the 24-hour time frame, which is good to know. That is a plus right there. Now, if you have a PlayStation Plus membership, it will carry over to the PlayStation 4, and it'll be less than $5 per month. The thing is, you really just need that for multiplayer. That sucks if you're a multiplayer online, but at least you're not going to be stuck with Xbox Live, paying more money a month for pretty much anything you want to do. So, right then and there, PlayStation 4 is giving you a lot more flexibility. PlayStation Network, play games that are being downloaded in the background. So that is really cool. Biggest thing of all, supports used games. You can trade them in at any retailer. You can lend them to your friends. Keep them forever. Sell to other person. Do what you want. Use them as a paperweight. It doesn't matter. You can do what you want, and this is ultimately what the consumer needs. It's your game. You can do what you want with it. You don't need to be told what to do with it. So that right there pretty much wins PlayStation at E3. Right then and there. What can be said? Another thing to note on is the indie games. There is so much support for indie developers on PlayStation 4. It's not even funny. The Xbox One mentioned Minecraft by Mojang, which is cool. Minecraft is a fun game, it's a big hit. But what about the other indie development scene? I mean, there's plenty of other games. PlayStation 4, Transistor. They knew about it, they picked it up. What about Don't Starve? What about other wonderful titles that are in the indie scene? These are the things that PlayStation done right. They're opening up a wide area of support for the indie scene to promote all these wonderful titles and developers. So that's great to see at least somebody's doing it. They may have a hard time on the Steam network, and they may have a hard time on Xbox, but they won't have a hard time with Sony. So that's really, really great to see. One other thing to quickly note is that the PlayStation 4 won't be forcing any peripherals on you, kind of like with Xbox Connect. You have to have the Connect with Xbox or the system won't simply work. With PlayStation, that's not a problem, so you won't have to worry about being forced to have any extra components that might break. That's always a more wonderful thing. I don't know why Microsoft did what they did. I kind of get it, but I really don't, because in the end, it's just really bad movement toward the consumer. If there's one thing you don't bite the hand that feeds. And that's basically what just happened with this generation of the Xbox. The Sony PlayStation 4 will launch at $399 or your regional equivalent, so it undercuts the Xbox One by roughly $100 or whatever your region may have it as. To Microsoft's credit, they did put a pretty good E3 show on. They had launched some pretty nice titles that showed some good clips there as well in their video footage, but unfortunately they can't really shake what was already done and announced. That's something very, very wrong. I mean, this is something people have been complaining about for the longest time. You went ahead and did it anyway, and I suppose now you guys expect that people will eventually somehow get over it? I seen some pretty hardcore Xbox fans already switching over because of the fact that they don't want their system going back and tattling every 24 hours what they do. Even people who aren't doing anything wrong still feel that, why do you have a system doing that? That's just doesn't make any sense. It's almost invasion of people's privacy. It shouldn't be done that way. There's other ways to do it, and Microsoft just really dropped the ball with this. This whole scenario can be pretty much compared to the last time when the Xbox 360 came out and the PlayStation 3. It's almost like a complete role reversal. The last time, PlayStation took a lot of flack for the PlayStation 3 and some of its abilities. Now, all of a sudden, the role is reversed for Xbox One. So it'll be very interesting to see how Microsoft responds. I'm pretty sure we'll see a subsidized version eventually. But until they relax on the DRM and the privacy thing, I don't see it making much of a difference. This should have never been a real topic of discussion in the first place. Microsoft just really, really had a major herp-derp. By the end of the day, Sony didn't win this by blowing the competition away. Xbox didn't really do anything by not keeping up with Sony's specs on the hardware. Microsoft lost this on the fact and the understanding of the consumer. You came across with this anti-consumer approach with DRM and trying to keep the developers get their fair share. But at the same time, you really crossed up on your consumers. Kind of stepped on their toes, really. You gave them the big F you middle finger, which is really wrong. PlayStation got it. They gave the people what they want, the ability to trade, sell, and do whatever they want with their games. Even Nintendo got it. Nintendo didn't even do that bad at E3. Not that they had to, because all they had to do was show their next-gen titles and some other stuff with some clips, and they did fine. They did better than Microsoft. It was that simple. So, even Nintendo gets it. It's very unfortunate Microsoft took this step back. Hopefully at some point, somewhere, somebody will have the smarts to say, hey, look, stop full reverse. I wouldn't expect a change this fast right now. Basically, for Microsoft to do a full reversal on DRM would be basically doing like maybe, months, if not years of work. They'd have to go back and redo all of that. So who knows, maybe they'll come out with another version of the Xbox without it, but I highly doubt that. With both these systems being pretty much almost the same, the only real deterrent here is Microsoft's ability to meet with the consumer. DRM is never a good idea, and they're going to pretty much find that out now. So anyway, that's going to pretty much wrap up this video. If you found it informative, please give this video a thumbs up. Leave any questions, comments, or suggestions down below in the comment area. I love to hear from you. We can keep this discussion going about Microsoft and Sony. It's really interesting. These two guys have been going back and forth. Microsoft really had a chance to do something great. They dropped the ball. This is totally on them. Even though they gave the developers the option of DRM, they left the option on the table. And that's a bad idea. So anyway, have yourselves a wonderful day, and if not, then just simply fake it. And I'll see you all again next time.